you look at the evangelical world, it seems as though that is not peeling back quite so quickly. And I'm thinking in particular, like remaining vestiges or influence of like critical race theory, that kind of thing. It's not being removed from the church as rapidly as it's being removed from secular society.
Oh, I can tell you exactly why.
Feminism, same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so my husband and I met at Multnomah School of the Bible a long time ago. So back in the 80s, we both went to Bible college. I've spent, 30 plus years in full-time ministry. And we know a lot of pastors and a lot of people in full-time ministry who have been taught now for generations. We have been taught, it's certainly taught in our Bible colleges and in our seminaries and in our Christian universities, that Christians should not be in politics, right? So we've been told separation of church and state, right? Which is a lie from the pit of hell, right? We love that the left has taken this misnomer of a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to the Danbury Baptist Church in Connecticut and use it like a football. And they're scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And the church is so weak in its understanding of the U.S. history, of the history of our country and of our Constitution, that we've allowed that to happen. And so you see the church still does not want to get involved in anything they think is quote unquote political. And what I've been saying for a long, long time, and this is a large part of the reason why I ran for Congress, Christians belong in every sphere of influence. We belong in medicine. We belong in education. We belong in politics. Politics determines policy. Policy shapes the nation. Why in the world would God's people not want to be in the policy-making business? And that messaging has to come from the top. It has to come from our pastors. And I still find, sadly, that there are very few Jack Hibbses and very few Rob McCoys and very few pastors who are willing to step into the fray and say it's not political, it's biblical.
Yeah.
99% of the issues that we vote on in this country are biblical at their root. And biblical problems need biblical solutions. God's people need to engage. And I firmly believe, let's take, for example, Washington State. In the last election, Washington State is being overrun right now by radicals. I mean, we have just shy of a communist. He's a full-blown Marxist, Bob Ferguson, the governor of Washington State right now. He is inflicting more damage in the first 6 months of his governorship in Washington State than we have seen Jay Inslee do in the last 8 years. And that's saying something, because that guy was a bad guy.
Wow.
Ferguson is worse by a factor of 10. We knew that he would be because he was terrible as attorney general. So we had the opportunity, while the campaigns were running, we had the opportunity to say, hey, this guy is going to be a nightmare for public policy. He's going to be a nightmare for Christians. If there's ever another pandemic, he'll be a nightmare. He was a nightmare in COVID. And guess what happened in the last election? 1.2 million self-identified Christians did not vote.
Wow.
And to me, this is the problem. If God's people refuse to engage, if we continue to say, oh, this is someone else's problem, oh, politics is dirty, oh, we don't engage in that. If we continue to see cowardice from the pulpits, I said this on Jack Hibbs's podcast not too long ago, the 501c3, that C stands for coward as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
You want to come to me and tell me that your church doesn't engage in politics because after all, you have the 501c3. So what you're telling me is that you won't tell the truth from the pulpit because of money. Isn't that what it is? Doesn't the 501c3 give you a tax write-off? Isn't that what we're all afraid we're going to lose? It's money.
Yeah.
So for goodness sake, give it back and find your voice.
Yes.
Right? And so this is still a massive problem in the church. It's a massive problem in most of our churches around the country. And unless and until God's people decide to engage again in the political sphere, we can't continue to send people to the front lines of very real spiritual battles who can't wield spiritual weapons and then expect a different result.
Yeah.
And yet that's what we have ceded as God's people. We have ceded that territory to the enemy. It's going to take us a while to get it back. It will require courage instead of cowardice from the pulpits, and I have yet to see it to the degree that we need it.